I just raced Ironman 70.3 Eagleman. There's the good, there's the bad, there's the glorious, and the awful. Let's get into it.
Finish strong!
This was my third 70.3 distance race, and I finished in a time of 4 hours, 51 minutes, and 5 seconds. My swim time was 33 minutes and 56 seconds. T1 was 2 minutes and 46 seconds. My bike split was 2 hours, 35 minutes, and 19 seconds. My T2 was 2 minutes, 52 seconds. And my run time was 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 14 seconds. Overall, this race, a lot went right and a lot went very, very wrong. I still came out with a 50-second PR in the distance, which is really exciting. This course is also slightly longer. My watch got 70.64. I think the transitions were very long. So to have a PR in a slightly longer distance and to just have a PR in general is always really exciting. Let's get into the data of things. The data is brought to you by Coros, which very, very nicely sends me their Pace Pro, their arm heart rate monitor, and their Dura bike computer right before the race. And yes, I know you should not go into a race without having used all the stuff, like no new things on race day. But I don't play by those rules. I like to do new things on race day. And it worked out. So all the data is brought to you by Coros. My official swim time was 33 minutes and 56 seconds. I clocked 35 minutes and 13 seconds. That's because I forgot to hit the transition. I thought I hit it, but I guess I didn't. So with the Coros Pace Pro, you hit it twice to confirm you're going into transition. I forgot to do that. So I didn't track my transition time. So looking at the pace map, the little tiny bit at the end where I just all of a sudden was going 40 seconds per 100 yards, that was actually me running through transition. You can see at the beginning part, there are 2 stop points where I completely stopped. That first one was literally within like the first 100 meters. It was choppy out there. They were telling us, you know, Eagleman swim, the river is called the chop take, not because the water's choppy, but because of the Native American tribe that is from there. I'm pretty sure it has to also do with the choppiness of the water, because it was awful. Before it started, some of the volunteers and stuff were like, oh, it's not that bad. It's like, this is perfect conditions. I don't think so. I struggle with water anxiety. Open water is just hard for me, and water just in general. Even like at the pool, there are sometimes where I'm like, oh, I don't like this, but especially open water. And when it gets really, really choppy, I tend to struggle a lot. And there had just been storming all week, so there was a lot of stuff in the water. First couple strokes, I got seaweed and stuff like all over me. I'm like, it's fine, like just keep going, just keep swimming. But I had to stop, gather my thoughts, and my goggles also fogged up like fast because I stopped and do, which obviously not great. And then the current going out was not the best. So choppy at the beginning. Maybe like 5-6 minutes later, I had to stop again. I had to turn on my back for a second just to like relax and gather my thoughts. At like first 7 minutes of the swim, I was ready to ask for one of the water rescue people to take me out. I was so defeated. The swim at the beginning was really rough, but once I made that second turn and was back towards transition, it was fast that way. The chop wasn't as bad. And there was also just a ton of people in the water. They did a rolling start where you're supposed to start kind of roughly based on what your expected time would be. There were some people that were way too aggressive about it, like literally swimming over people. I felt so terrible because I know if somebody had like done that to me, like I would have freaked out, which it actually did happen to me. I like swimming next to somebody and somehow like they're like, and like slightly went into my mouth. I'm like, I don't understand how this is happening. It was just chaos. The swim was chaos, but I still finished it. I'm so defeated. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like then I saw my husband and I heard him cheering for me and I was like, it's go time, let's go. Overall, the swim was like a 2 out of 10. So for some stats for you, My average stroke rate was 34, which when you think of it, it's just counting the one, so that comes up to 68, which I think is pretty decent stroke rate. My stroke rate was 42. Next up, this is my heart rate data. I averaged 159 with a max of 184. So in the water, obviously it's really hard to track heart rate data, so I don't know exactly how accurate this is. I was not wearing any sort of heart rate monitor. I was using the heart rate data on my watch. Next up is the bike. My official split was 2 hours, 35 minutes, and 19 seconds. That came out to 21.7 miles per hour. Onto the bike, I did a flying mount, which is super exciting. I figured out I need to start a little bit faster. I got my right foot clipped in, but my left foot did not clip in quite as quickly as I wanted it to. But once I got going, I was going and I was feeling really, really good. I was in my drops. I was, pushing power. I felt really strong. It was amazing. And then my hip started hurting. So I had to back off. I had to come out of the drops. I was upright. I very quickly lost a lot of power because when I was trying to increase my cadence more and push more, my hips started hurting. So it was just not a fun time that second half. You can see the first 25-ish miles, I was pushing that almost 23 miles per hour. And then you can see after that, completely fell off. But I finished, so that's what matters, and it was still a PR. I averaged 90 RPM, which is perfect, spot on. My goal is between 85 and 95, and I hit it spot on. My max wattage was 475, and my average was 177. When I did White Lake about a month ago, my average wattage was 171. So we were up, the speed was also up. So overall, that was a pretty good day. You can also see in this speed chart and then it just slowly kept falling down. And also, I mentioned, there was definitely a headwind on the way back. So having to come out of the drops and not being as aero of position and also having the headwind was not fun. I would say the bike, I'm gonna give it 2 ratings. The rating of how it actually went versus the rating if my hip didn't bother me. That bike would have been a 9 out of 10 if my hip did not bother me. But the way that it went for me, in my opinion, of my race, I would say it was a 5 out of 10. The hip really destroyed me and also destroyed my will to live that last half. Now for the interesting part, let's talk about the run.
Go, Alex! 5 more. I'll see you at the finish.
This was a 2-loop out and back, and it was very flat. Elevation gain was 177 feet. Very flat. It was great. My official run time was 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 14 seconds. That came out to about 7 minutes and 20 seconds per mile. This run was difficult for me. It was not fun. Coming off the bike, I was in a lot of pain. My hip was hurting. One of the thoughts I had was I need to find my husband and I need him to get me my other running shoes. By the time I saw him, I was already onto the course. I'm there's no point in it. After about 5K, maybe a little bit longer than that, my hip really started to warm up and I was feeling a lot better. I've gotten to a good stride. I was averaging right around 7 flat. I was feeling fantastic. And then it hit me. I had to go to the bathroom. Around mile 4-ish, I had to pee really badly. And luckily, coming up on a station and their porta potties, got in, got out within 30 seconds. It was great. I did a lot in there. And I was done before I was done with, so it was great. I felt fantastic. I picked up my pace. I think I did my fastest mile, which was a 6:48. I felt really great. And then we hit the turnaround point and started going back out again. And on the aid stations, I had taken one of the electrolyte drinks that they had given out. And I think that's what messed me up. It was not great. There was a solid 1.5 miles where from when it hit my stomach to where the next bathroom was that I started crying because I was fighting the fact that I was probably gonna poop my pants. Poop my pants. I was literally crying like, oh no, it's happening. Just could not accept the fact that I was going to poop myself. But luckily, I made it to a porta potty. That pain, that mile and a half-ish slowed me down so much. You can see it in the splits. You can see it. And then I was also in the porta potty for a minute. I was in there way too long. So that was really frustrating. So the Pace Pro gave me my total time if I had not stopped. I would have averaged like 7:14 pace if I didn't completely stop. And that doesn't count the amount that I slowed down too. So I think I probably would have been able to hold that 7 flat pace if my stomach would have been fine. Overall, the run, again, I'm gonna do 2 different ratings. The run, 10 out of 10. That was a fantastic course. The weather was absolutely phenomenal. It was great. The number of aid stations were fantastic. It was just such a great vibe out there on the run course. My experience, I'll give it like a 6 out of 10 because when the run was really good, it was fantastic. I felt amazing. I was flying. It was a good time. But when it was bad, I thought I was gonna die. I also want to touch on is nutrition because I did a little bit different this time. Food that has gluten in it, it messes up my stomach for a few days. These waffles, they were great. And then for lunch, I had deli meats, and then for dinner, my gels 30 minutes and 15 minutes before race start. And I totally forgot about the 15-minute one. These are the gels that I use. They are Honey Plus. I love them. They're super clean. There's no fillers. It's just honey with salt, and then they also have like caffeine options. It's fantastic. And if you have a sensitive stomach like I do, these are a really great option. I also use Date Fix, literally dates blended with like orange blossom water, and then they have different flavors. There's original, cinnamon, turmeric, and ginger, and they're all absolutely delicious. And then for my electrolyte drink, I did a 700 milliliter bottle with 2 pouches before leading up to the race, and then I had 3 bottles on the ride that one of them had 2 pouches and the other 2 had 1.5 pouches. But that was instant hydration. This was a new one. I'm trying to figure out a good hydration electrolyte drink for the bike, just because electrolyte drinks can hurt the tummy sometimes. So I'm trying to figure out one that gives me all the things that I need. So if you have any recommendations, put them below, comment them. I would appreciate it. On the bike, the first hour, every 10 minutes, I would have a gel. So I would rotate. I would do a Date Fix and then a honey, and then a Date Fix and honey. After like 40 minutes, I started going to 15 until I finished all of my gels. I can't remember exactly how many, but I want to say I did 4 Date Fix and maybe 6 Honey Plus gels on the bike. So the question that I have is, did I eat too much on the bike? And that caused me my issues during the run. I had the 3 bottles, and then I had 1.5 just water bottles that they were handing out on the course. Also, I am a master at grabbing water bottles on the bike. I'm pretty sick at it. And then we get to the run. I had 4 gels. In the first mile leading up to the first aid station, I had 1, and this is the 150 milligrams of caffeine Honey Plus. And then I had my second one about mile 4.5, 5-ish, and then I did another one at like 8.5, and then I did the last one around like 10.5, 11. And through the course, I was grabbing water.
Finish strong!
That was the hardest that I have ever pushed myself. My hamstrings, my glutes, my quads, my calves, everything was hurting so much. And I was just crying. It was a sense of pride and just so proud of myself for like what I pushed my body to do. Not only like a slightly longer course, but also everything that I had to overcome during that race. To still come out with a 50-second PR was amazing. And the other thing that was really special was this was the first 70.3 distance that my husband got to see. And to hear him cheering at every turn on the run, the in and out on the bike, it lit a fire in me. I want to be the best for him. Overall, this race was good and bad and glorious and awful. but 50-second PR, which is super awesome. I am done with 70.3s for the rest of the year. My new focus is going to be on age group draft legal sprint world championship in Wollongong in Australia on October 17th. I will be working up to that with a couple Olympics, a couple sprints, and then I might be doing a full marathon right after that. So we'll see. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next time.